Hello and welcome. Thank you for stopping by. Today I have a fun Christmas in July project that I'm featuring as part of the Trinity and Stamps Christmas in July hop. We are hopping both on YouTube and Instagram, which is double the fun and double the prizes, so be sure to check the description box below for more details. Let's get started. Today's project features the Cozy Christmas Cottage Stamps and Dies, the Simply Sentimental Holidays stamps, the Clean Cut Circle Set A, the Modern Embossed Window Panel Dies, number 1 and 2, and then some of the Rainbow Bright Slimline paper. I'm using that red. You will also need a 4 1/4 by 11 inch cardstock. So the Modern Embossed panels die cut a full panel with an embossed window. But I don't want a full A2 panel. I need a 4 1/4 inch square. So I'm turning my A2 cut piece of paper to where it's gonna only cut 4 1/4 inches across, centering that circle. I will do this for both of the panels in order to cut tunnels for a tunnel box card. We're making 4 panels total, so I'm going to die cut one just as is, and then with the clean cut circle dies, we're going to enlarge both circles on 2 of the panels in order to make 2 more panels for our tunnel card. So since it is a modern embossed die, what that gives us is that embossed edge. That embossed edge actually allows these circle dies to pretty much like click into place. So you get a perfectly centered cut. It is a beautiful thing, and it makes doing this project a lot easier. And it allows you to stretch the dies that you already have for multiple uses, which is a favorite thing of mine. So I'm taping those in place, and I will die cut those again off screen. That will give us all 4 panels I need to make all of the tunnels. So you can see here they can stack, and they get about a 1/4 inch smaller, I think. Maybe it's an 1/8 of an inch. Either way, they slice down like you're looking down a tunnel. That's going to give us all the dimension and all of the layering abilities for our tunnel card. To put the card together, we need to score. So I'm grabbing my scoreboard, and so for these measurements, you don't want to do what I'm actually doing on screen. You want to follow the measurements I wrote on screen. I did have an oops in this card for sure, but I caught the mistake. So 3 3/4 inch, 4 3/4 inch, 9 1/2 inch, and 10 1/2 inch is how you're going to do your card base. Then you're going to bring those panels in, and you're going to score at a 1/4 inch on each side for the bottom 3. The top, otherwise known as the largest circle, does not need to be scored because it will be on the front of your card. Go ahead and burnish all of those creases on both the card base and those layers, the tunnel layers, and we'll be ready to start putting together the card. For this card base, you can see how it kind of goes into a box. This is where I said you didn't need to score those edges. So I want to kind of mat this on the front of my card. In order to do that, I need to trim it down. My card gives me a 3 3/4 by 4 1/4 inch base, so I'm just trimming down to where I am roughly an 1/8 of an inch shorter on each side. I'm going to go ahead and glue that in place, and what I can do now is bring back in that same circle die, and I need to die cut that card panel. The card base, so I also have that window. Just like that. This allows you to see down your tunnel. As you can kind of see here, that's how our card will go together. Now I'm going to bring in a piece of that Rainbow Bright Slimline paper, and I'm going to cut it down to mat on the back of that card. This is what you're going to see in the very farthest part of our tunnel card. It just added like a pop of color, and I really liked how it kind of gave a background to the wall with those stripes, still kind of remaining Christmassy neutral. So I want to glue that in place. Wet adhesive is generally my adhesive of choice because it gives me wiggle room. That's no different in this case. Flipping back over the card, before I put it all together, it's a lot easier to add any type of stamping you want on the front right now. So I'm bringing in the Simply Sentimental Holiday set, and I was kind of toying around with where I wanted to put my sentiment. I decided to go with From Our Family to Yours, and I'm going to go right across the top of the circle. I liked how that looked best because I didn't really want to use any big sentiments that hid the scene behind it. So here it is all stamped, and now we get to bring in that Cozy Christmas Cottage stamps and dies. I colored and die cut these all off screen because, guys, there's a lot of them. I used every single stamp in this set. I could not resist. It is so cute. So here I am just kind of piecing together what I need for each scene. The little stockings go on the garland. We had to put the Christmas hat on the bear. The wreath will go on the fireplace along with the snowman and the candlestick on the mantles. All sorts of fun to be had with all of these little things. So here I want to make sure you're using the smallest circle because that's the one you're going to place in first. I'm using it for placement so I can kind of make sure that my fireplace is centered where I need it to be on the card. I don't want it too far down because I didn't want to hide too much of it. So this is how I just kind of put it right where I needed it. And then I just keep my finger there to remember where it was. I didn't want to do any markings or anything fancy. My finger worked just fine in this case. Holding it just for a couple seconds to make sure I'm not slipping around and bringing back in that smallest circle window to make sure I have the positioning right. At this point, I'm actually going to start building in those layers because I want to start adding the rest of the pieces in. First, though, I almost forgot to put on my snowman and my candlestick. I thought it'd be cute to have them kind of decorating the mantle of sorts, and I really needed a spot to put those little guys. They fit. So after those are glued, I'm going to bring in my 1/4 inch Rip and Stick Trinity tape. The 1/4 inch is exactly the width I needed because I did 1/4 inch scoring. So it fits straight all the way down that little piece without coming over onto the front of my panel. This adhesive is also really strong, so I don't feel like I need to use glue in addition, but if you were concerned for some reason, you could. I'm going ahead and going to do all of the panels at the same time while I have my tape out. You could choose to do this one panel at a time or do them all together. So I'm going ahead and stacking them so I know they're in the right order, and then taking the smallest circle first, I'm going to peel the release paper off and adhere it straight down, only adhering one side. You nest up the next edge of the next layer right up against where that first one went, so they're essentially stacking on top of each other. That's what gives you the tunnel-like dimension. So last piece is going on, and you can kind of see right now it looks like a book. None of those release papers are done, so they're not going to stick at all yet. But this allows us to decorate each panel individually while the card's being put together. For the second layer, all I'm doing is the garland and the stockings. They fit perfectly across that circle, and I thought it added a fun bit of a dimension, not just putting them on there. The tree was too large to fit, so I chose to cut it down and then nest that side right up against the edge. I could have done the whole tree, but I felt it would have hid a lot of the fireplace behind it, so I cut it down so it was more peeking in from the side. I thought maybe I was going to do all of the presents here, but you couldn't really see them if I put them under the tree, so I just gave it to where there was a little bit popping up. Here is our Santa Bear, all cheerful and red and green, gluing him so he's peeking in from the opposite edge of the tree, kind of checking out the whole scene. And here I gave a little bit more of the presents or so I thought. You still don't see them a whole lot. So I changed my mind and decided to put the presents on the front with the cute little sleeping dog, the wood pile, and then I'll add those couple little presents as well, which will finish off the card. Tunnel cards are a lot of fun to make, and I don't do them a whole lot, but these dies probably will make me do them a lot more. It comes together really, really quickly once it's all cut out. So here is where I realized my math mistake. It was a 1/4 inch too big on my base, so they didn't line up right. I was able to save it and add a little bit of cardstock to the edge so my card wasn't a complete failure, but this is more of a do as I say, not as I did thing. So follow the measurements. I'll have them all listed in the description below, and I'd love to see you guys make a version as well. Be sure to tag me over on Instagram and check out the hop over there as well. Thanks for stopping by, guys. Have a great day. Bye-bye.